And we'll just let people start coming on it. Okay, we got 5 already. Wow.
Nice.
All right. All right, so let me start this countdown. We'll get started. Hello, welcome to this free webinar put on by the DLAT and ORG. My name's Cade. I'm a association volunteer for both organizations, both DLAT and ORG. And welcome to this webinar. I want to do a few housekeeping things. I have some notes here, and if just to let you know. So this webinar is worth 1.5 hours of professional development, and if there's a two-step process. You need to be registered for this webinar first. We are live streaming it to Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube, and if you're watching it through one of those channels and you want your CE credits, be sure and click the link below in the description. There should be a link and it says streamyard.com. Register at any time before, during, or after the stream, and I'll get your information. And then there's a second link at the very, very bottom of the description that says, to get your CE credits, we need your CDT number. So that way, you click on that, fill out that form, your email and name and CDT number. And as long as the emails match the registration, I'll get your CEs submitted, hopefully next week. But this webinar will be available for the next 30 days, and I'll do another submission of CE credits at the end of that. Another bonus is I want to announce that we have the 2025 DLAT ORG Conference Rewind. Did I misspell conference? If I did, that is embarrassing. We recorded most all the courses at the 2025 conference in April. So if you missed it, you could still watch them. We have over 35 courses with more to come. So I'm still putting in more to get to that. And you can get CE credits for all those. So you can get all 12 of your CE credits, including this one, if you sign up for that. And you can sign up here, bit.ly, bit.ly/2025 rewind, and you can go to that. You can also go to the dental. Let me see if I can share this screen here. Oop. This one. You can also go to the dlat.org, and there's a link here, and you can click on this picture, and it'll take you straight to the conference rewind, and you can watch all 35, or pick and choose. You get to pick and choose which hours you want. So go ahead and do that, and that brings me to this course will also be on that rewind in a little bit. If you want your CE credit, if you're going to watch it there, you'll get your CE credits through with all your other ones through there. You just answer the quiz at the end. So give me a few days to get that quiz up. So that brings me to that 2025 conference. Michelle, our speaker, was slated to be a speaker at our conference. Unfortunately, she had a family emergency. She couldn't attend the conference, but she immediately emailed me, said, "Hey, Cade, I can't come, but can we do a webinar? I want to get this information out to all the attendees and all the dental labs out there, which I think is going to be important in this modern time to get this information." So let's see. And so a big thanks to her for being available to do this. I think she's even traveling right now doing this from a hotel room. So really appreciate it that she's doing this with us. So her name is Michelle Holguin, if I'm saying that right. She is the CEO of Avantgarde with 15 plus years in dental marketing. and specializes in helping labs grow through AI, automation, and strategic branding, and has worked with DSOs, GPOs, and leading dental labs across the U.S. So, Michelle, thank you for joining us.
Hey, Kate, thanks for having me. Yes, and thanks for pronouncing that last name correctly because I do get
Ho-
Julian quite often.
Holguin, we were talking about that, how our names get mispronounced all the time. So, and we were talking about our Australian shepherds we have,
That's right. Yeah.
and the ball of energy. And so, you have some. I have a slideshow for you, from you, and I can display that when you're ready. But, you know, why is marketing important for dental labs?
Well, first and foremost, I think one of the major things out there is the consolidation that is happening out there with,
Mm,
with practices. So, and even dental labs, where the small
yes.
guy continues to have to set themselves apart in order to compete with these larger labs or even get any of this DSO business. That's number one. Number two, it's just the marketing and the style of marketing technology that's out there. It's just ever evolving. And if you're not applying certain strategies in your lab, then how do people find you? You know, if you don't have SEO on your website, for example, then you're just a billboard in the desert. So how do people actually, your clients raise their hand and say, yes, Kate, I want to send you a case and learn about you and hopefully develop a relationship that way. So if you're not doing either of those two, then you're slowing down and you're not looking forward.
You're
So
screaming in a desert and no
yeah,
one hears you.
exactly.
uh, but I think that's a good subject for today. Is DSOs? I think at the conference was talked about a lot, and larger corporation labs buying smaller ones,
That's right.
and they have those large corporations. They have complete teams, marketing teams that's their whole job. And I
Yes.
think most of the people listening to this webinar are. I'm a Sorry if you hear a crow. Where I'm a two-man show. Me and my wife, mom and pop, ortho lab, out in the country. She raises chickens and ducks, and crow, my rooster keeps crowing. So sorry about that. But we're all small labs, and we need help with this. So again, appreciate you for putting this together for us.
Absolutely, or else we're all going to have to find a part-time job in selling eggs.
I know a lab that was doing Uber on the side, an
Look at
Uber
that.
driver. Yeah, because it was slow. So were they able to get the word out, or what? So it's kind of scary as I hear labs consolidating and slowing down, or shutting their doors. It's just a sad thing to see.
It is. It is. Yeah. Well, hopefully that Uber, when he was delivering, he was leaving his business card.
It, yeah, exactly. That's a great idea. uh, so and I appreciate you knowing about dental labs, and that we don't advertise really to the public in general, but we're trying to target specific dentists, uh,
Yeah.
to so we're in a little bit of a different situation because we need to just target those dentists and get on their Instagram feed or something, to get in front of them.
Yes, yes. Even send them an email, and how do you harvest those contacts? There's what now over 250,000 dentists across the United States. So, there's enough to go around.
Oh yes, yes. There's definitely enough room to go around. Um,
And I believe most practices they send to either, 2 to 3 labs. So, if you can be one of those three and
right.
positioning yourself as a differentiator, that's a great win.
Yes. Yeah. That's and do you tend to talk about what's your one thing? What's the one thing? And maybe you get into this later in the presentation, but uh, if I find I'm good at splints or something, or night guards or something like that, do you just hammer that nail, uh,
That
and
is a
then you
great
become
approach.
the expert?
Yes, exactly, exactly. Now you could be full service, right? There are a lot of
Right.
labs out there that are full service, but to your point, maybe you do splints very well, or you do, single unit implants very well. Um, Ortho, you're an ortho lab, so that's completely different. I think one of the things that people might think, it's like, oh my gosh, well, I have to do everything and everything. No, you don't. Focus on the one thing that you do very well, because the one thing that people buy from people. We were talking about this
Right.
earlier,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So if you position yourself as an expert at everything versus what you're actually an expert on, then they're going to start questioning you. You're going to start losing their trust in your own credibility. So if Splints is your number one product and your number one service, hone in on that and
Yeah.
lean in. Hey, all in. Let's put the chips on there, because all that it takes is that person to send you that one case, and then it's up to you to retain them as a client, and to you to give amazing customer experience to that prospect that say, all right, Kate, I hear you, I need some Splints.
Well, and like that's a good point. Even though we're B2B or business to business, there's still people in those businesses that you're still connecting with.
Exactly,
So that's
exactly.
and the title of your your thing. Let me get because it's a full thing. Marketing mastery for dental laboratories, leveraging AI and automation to connect, convert, and retain clients. So
That's right. Yeah.
that's very important to retain those clients.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe let's put up that presentation and get into it. Maybe the first slide on there, and we were just talking about the shift in the dental lab marketing, right? So
Yeah,
from consolidation, to your point, maybe either slowing down, or unfortunately you have to close your doors.
yeah,
So, what are some solutions that you can use in modern day marketing technology to generate those high quality leads? Targeted marketing approach. So going back to your point, if you have a specialty and that practices, or you want those practices that offer ortho products to their patients, then you're targeting that B2B. You're targeting your audience. Again, there's a wide pool out there, an ocean of prospects, but that doesn't mean that 100% of those are your clients. Sometimes I've turned down clients, Kate, because they're just not the right fit, right? I'm sure you've had some of those clients that are just problem, and
yeah.
you
There's
know,
a lab for every dentist out there. That's my thought. Because and if I don't connect with that office or that dentist very well, I'm fine if they go find another one. Because the patient's care is the important thing at the end of the day, and that good relationship between a lab and dentist is excellent. So I can see turning away business is sometimes a good thing.
yeah, yeah. Especially when you tell them, hey, we have a high percentage of remakes, and it's not your fault. It's at the practice level. And if that doctor just is not understanding that, then it's going to cost you more in the long term, because you're going to have probably even your salespeople. You're probably your own salesperson, Kate, if you have a smaller organization, right?
I am. Yeah.
So not only are you producing, you're selling, and you're doing damage control with all these high remake cases or high remake practices. So understanding your audience and knowing when to say no, thank you, is all equally as important as to attracting new clients.
I I couldn't agree more with that, and going into what you're saying with the shift in the market today,
Mm-hmm.
that it's kind of scary out there. So you kind of gotta. I know a lot of people want to stay away from this kind of stuff, but you got to embrace it at some point or do something to keep yourself relevant.
Well, I think it's important for people to understand that AI is a tool and nothing more.
Right.
Yes, of course, certain jobs might be, in jeopardy. But ultimately, if you don't use AI or technology to your advantage to make you better at your job, then of course, yes, your job might be in jeopardy. But ultimately, it should help you become better in your everyday, and then use it to your advantage. So, for example, if we're talking about how to generate leads or even personalize that content, something as simple as sending an email, and within a platform that allows you to use what they're called short codes. So the short code first name, I'm sure sometimes you've received certain emails that you see first name. That's because it's missing the first name in their database.
Right.
But they're still trying to personalize the content to you. So if you're sending messages to your clients, something as simple as putting, "Hey, Dr. Smith," that's going to attract them. That's likely going to make them open up that email that you're sending them versus just delete, 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 because everyone gets an enormous amount of emails on a daily basis.
Right.
How do you stand out?
Well,
And
you think emails? This is what I've heard. Emails never dying.
no,
It's still very important. Just
very
sending out
important.
emails.
And the highest ROI too, because again, you're starting with, let's just say 1,000 on the top mid funnel, depending on content, and you're consistently posting on social media, making sure that you're sending an email, even a monthly email, a promotion that you're doing, or a summer promotion, or buy one, get one. If you're not top of mind, let's just think about our everyday lives. We're all so busy that the moment I get an email, unless it's important, I do the same thing. I delete it. So how do we, again, make sure we're not just screaming in a desert?
Yeah. I like that's going to be a huge analogy we're going to use all day today.
Do it. Love it. Well, we did ask one of the questions out at the conference on the app, that I thought was interesting in terms of the results that we got on that one.
Oh, yes. You talk about the poll.
Hmm.
For those of you that don't know, we had an app on your phone, and Michelle put in their poll questions, and we got some really interesting results. I found them very interesting. So let me see if I can show that. Is it this one? How does your dental lab currently acquire new clients?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And by far, by 84%, if I can read that right, word of mouth referrals. Was that surprising to you?
Very
Or
surprising.
it was? Okay.
Yeah, it was surprising because again, I'm used to leveraging the technology that we have. So then that way you're not just essentially pigeonholing yourself on one type of referral. But referrals are still the number one way to market, right? So
Right.
although it's surprising that 85% are only doing word of mouth referrals, that doesn't mean stop. Keep doing it, but layer on top of that.
Oh, diversify.
Exactly.
Yeah, diversify it so that if something dries up, you've already built something that will continue your promotions.
Exactly. Yeah. There's only a finite number of hours in every single day. What can you do 9 to 5, 5 days a week? And what can you automate? That's where AI and automation comes in and is your best friend at times.
And so at the very bottom, AI powered automation chatbots, email sequences. That's nobody chose that.
No, no one. That actually surprised me again
Yeah.
because chatbots are a dime a dozen now, right? So I think it's also important to partner with the right marketing company, or if you have a small team like yourself, get yourself on a platform like Hekadoc that is all-in-one automation. It can do your email marketing. It can help you post your social media ahead of time, so then that way you can set it and forget it.
Mm.
But at the same time, you're collecting all that first party data. Why is that important? Because if you drive them back to your website, then you capture what is called the IP address. So when you capture that IP address in your CRM, which is the customer relationship management system, then you can essentially be God's eye, right? So you can see, Kate, I can see that you visited my website. I can see that you opened my email, that you clicked, that you visited my social media. And every single engagement that prospect does, you can add what's called a lead score. So if you add a lead score to 5 points, you visited the website, a lead score of 5 points because you opened the email, then that shows you on a funnel level where your prospects are engaging the most. So in terms of your sales outreach, because that's a human part of it, then you have 100 emails that you sent, right, last week for a promotion, and 20 of those prospects have a lead score of 45 and over. The others have maybe 5 or 0. you're only going to spend your time on those 10
Mm,
that have a higher engagement, because
that
your conversion rate is going to be a lot higher.
right. Uh, I
Did I just confuse everyone?
no, no. Well, maybe I can explain it this way. Have any of you out there? Oh, and by the way, let me let y'all know that if y'all have questions, please post them, and I'll put them down, and I can bring them up, and we can answer them like dental things here. Love the subject for today, um, and so if you put them down below, we'll try to answer them. But uh, let me know if y'all have experienced this, and I think this is what Michelle's talking about. You go to you're scrolling through Instagram and you go to you see a product and you go to a shopping cart and you go to that shopping cart and you add a product to the shopping cart, but you don't buy it. You get an email later that says, "Hey, did you forget something?" uh, I mean, I'm sure everybody's experienced this that buys things online that they know that you have something in your. It's creepy in a way, but it does. I have bought things because I'm like, oh yeah, I meant to buy that. I was looking for my card or something at the time, and so this is what you're talking about, right? I'm not getting that wrong.
Exactly. No,
Okay.
you nail on the head. Yes, exactly. And it's top of mind. Brand, that's a part of your brand awareness, right? So again, if people don't know you, how are they going to like and trust you?
What's the most basic that people need to start with? Um, they need a website.
Yes.
Do they need a Facebook account for their business?
Not, they don't need a Facebook account. I think, it's free to create a Facebook account. It's always nice to be able to connect with other people. But if I'm going to put them in order, website is your number one.
Okay.
Then start doing email marketing, because again, you want to collect their information, that first party data that we were talking about. So then that way you can serve them a marketing message afterwards. You forgot this in your shopping cart. Now,
Yeah.
most apps don't do online shopping, but there are
Right.
mechanisms that you can say, hey, a pop-up before you leave on your website. Um, Try us for free. Send your first case,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
um, so those, and then email marketing, I think, is your second. And then third, yes, reach out on social channels, because there are a lot of Facebook groups out there that you can get a lot of information from, whether it's an independent practice or even a GPO or a DSO. Some they have invitation only, but there are a lot that are open out there. And if you engage back within those channels, again, that's how you start developing relationships. Because at the end of the day, what what's the thing that matters? It's the relationship with your client.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Uh, that was the poll. I'm still surprised. The word of mouth referrals doesn't shock me as being in, because that's me. That's what I voted. Because I
I
don't.
was going to ask you, Kate. I mean, does that actually surprise you? Because
Yeah, it doesn't. It. But I thought there would be somebody out there that was like AI powered automation. We'd get something in there, or we don't have a clear marketing strategy yet. So, and then cold calling, email outreach, and social media were exactly the same, 20% each. So,
yeah,
there are some that are going doing the email outreach,
neck to
uh,
neck, yeah.
and
And you don't really need a full-blown marketing strategy. Like probably the attendees that answer social media and cold calling, they're already one step ahead of the game, right?
mm-hmm,
Um, but they might just be flying by the seat, and that's okay. the
yeah,
the biggest hurdle is getting started. And if you don't get started, then again, what are we saying? You're a billboard in the desert.
yeah. Well, okay. So email marketing. How do you get emails?
That's a great question. So, the DLAT, for example, right? You have the app where you can connect with people. You have that lead capture form on certain conferences. Um, Facebook, LinkedIn, start connecting with
Mm-hmm.
people, collecting your database, put them in those contacts into something, again, like a marketing automation platform. So then that way, once you collect that name, email, hopefully a phone number, because again, you want to have a conversation with them. You can instantly send an email asking if you can schedule a call with them, so you can talk to them about who they're using as their lab. Number one question that you might want to ask is, what problems are you experiencing with your lab?
Can I solve that problem?
Exactly.
Yeah. Am I a solution to the problem you're having?
Hmm.
That sounds like a whole social media marketing avenue to go down is uh, solutions and problems.
There you go. And I mean, you can even put a poll question on Facebook. That exact question: what problems are you experiencing with your lab? People will engage with you.
Right. And so being involved in the Facebook groups of dentists and listening to them and getting ideas and if if they allow you in the group because they're a dental lab, they probably don't want you in the group. But if you get in, you know, that's another place to make contacts.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know what? Be respectful, because if they do let you in, it would suck if they kick you out because you go in straight with a hard sell, right? You want to educate them. A lot of these dentists, whether they're private practices or part of a DSO, I mean, why are attendees and listeners joining us today? Because they need their educational credits. They need to
Mm-hmm.
consistently learn, to not only stay on top of things but evolve. So if you are invited on one of these Facebook groups, be respectful. And if they ask you to not do hard sell, don't hard sell, but answer the questions that, in conversations that are happening in those groups. Because again, the whole point is that you're providing a solution to a problem that they have. And that's what they're going to remember.
That I think that's very well put. um, let's go to let's see
Yeah, what
the
is number
problem solution. Funny that you said that, and on this page is problem and solution. So, but it's our problem as dental labs. What's our problem, and then what's the solution? And it's generating high quality leads with marketing, targeted marketing.
Mhm.
Um,
Automating that follow up, if we go to number second page, I'm sure we get a little bit more into that AI and automation. So the automation, like I was talking about targeting email messaging, we went a little bit into that. But again, like for example, HeckDog has the SMS component. So if
you
you
say
do have their phone number,
heck dog?
HekaDoc,
Oh,
HEKDOC.
okay, hecka doc. Okay, see,
Yeah,
a lot of us never heard of these things. So, like Mailchimp, that's what DLAT uses to market. Like I use it to market this. So that when you mentioned some of these service providers, I'll try to make sure we know what we're the names of them so people can go research them.
absolutely. MailChimp is one, primarily email marketing. Hootsuite, primarily social media posting. You have something like HubSpot, where it has a little bit, more of a all-in-one approach as well. And then again, HekaDoc, that is a HIPAA compliant platform.
Oh,
So you want to
really?
ask yourself that, especially, if you are gathering patient information from these cases, in your database, you can see, well, you know what, Dr. Smith sends me a lot of, full arch cases, for example. Well, then you might guess that his demographic is probably in 55 or older. So then patient information that is shared, you want to make sure that it's secure and that it's HIPAA compliant. So in that way, no one gets in trouble.
Is that considered a CRM? The
It is.
Okay.
Hmm.
I just and for those that don't know, CRM, customer. You already said this before. Almost said retention, relationship manager. It's a software you can put all your info of all your leads and stuff in there and help manage it. And it looks like some of these softwares will actually help you send out social marketing emails and that kind of things. So
That's right. That's right. And then some of them have tools, and let me see if I can figure out how to share, because I want to talk about not just automating the emails, but also SMS text messages if you have,
yes, that's
doctors'
huge now.
phone number. Yeah. And a lot, you'd be surprised. A lot of doctors are willing to share their cell phone number with you. Again, that comes after the know and like and trust aspect
Yeah,
of it.
true,
Um,
true.
but once they give you their mobile phone number, that you're already there. You've made that relationship. It's solid. So be respectful again, and send messages, not bombard them, but send the right type of messages. And let me share, see if I can do this. Um, share screen,
Yeah, it should be down.
allow, let me see.
And I might have to remove this.
Let me
Uh,
see. Did I do it right? Or am I? What can you see?
I got it.
You got it. Okay, so
Yeah.
you see a dashboard here.
Yes. Yeah. So what is this one called?
So
Uh,
this is the one that I was talking about, Hackadoc,
okay.
HADOC. So this is the back end of the platform. Once you log in, there's affordable, from 199 a month to however many thousands of contacts you might want to put in there. And this is a real client. So just to show you some of the, it's out of dental, so it's safe to share some copy on here, but at a glance, you're very, very busy. To your point, Kate, you're also your sales and your marketing and your manufacturing. So, if you take 10 minutes out of every day in your morning, how many people are actually visiting your website? How many people are joining your list, your contact form that you have on the website? And this is what I was talking about, the lead funnel. So right
Mm.
now they're early, but now 75% of them are going down into discovery.
Oh,
There's
the more they look into you. Okay.
correct. Yes.
It's tracking that. That's cool.
It's tracking that. Yeah. And then, what pages are they visiting on your website the most? If you see that you're getting a spike on your splints, then hey, maybe run a
Oh,
promotion for splints.
right. Yeah. So
Social,
what are they? What links? What are the first links in that they're clicking on your site?
correct.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Okay.
Yeah. So this one is a blog talking about, and he's a plastic surgeon, but nostril asymmetry for rhinoplasty. That's his number one product or service that he offers. Um, if we go into the predictive sending that I was going to explain, and this is something very nifty. So where the AI actually kicks in, and again, it's still a human putting in the information,
Mm-hmm.
and they're using the AI to benefit. So let's just say, we want to do the subject line, "Don't miss out on $79 for a Queen Crown." Well, this system actually scores that subject line. It's very,
Oh.
very low. So if we click in it, it's telling us, well, you're using 44 characters. Best practices is to keep it, roughly 20
Mm-hmm.
characters. You're using some bad words. Well, what do you mean bad words? Don't, miss, and then
Really?
out. Mm-hmm.
Not cuss words, just bad words, bad marketing words. Cuss words in the marketing lingo.
Exactly, exactly. And it aggregates millions and millions of emails that are sent. So that's why AI can work for you. So if we go in here and say, all right, well, let's see how we can optimize this. It doesn't like don't, it doesn't like miss, and doesn't like out. Well, let's just simplify this and put $79 full zirconia crown. Look at how
Oh,
much it jumped.
that's a huge jump. Just
Yeah.
removing words.
So if your subject line is scored in the 30s as poor, you're probably going to get maybe 1% open rate.
Mm.
Now, if your subject line is scoring higher, then that open rate is going to be now in the 40s to 50%. So again, if you're sending to 1,000 people or even 100 people for the sake of conversation to make it easy, do you want one person to open and respond, or do you want maybe 70 people to open and 30 of those actually respond? So those things are really, really important to know in your marketing, even at the most basic level, in terms of email marketing.
And to know who to send these to, this. Oh, I can't. Why can I? Heckadoc. I had to look at the URL. It's looking at. Can it pull? Let's say the doctor's info that's visiting your page. I guess if their info is somewhere else on the internet, it makes a connection, or do they need to fill out a contact form, or is this one of those pop up things where it says give us your email for 30% off or something like that?
Right. So you
Okay.
want to capture their information. Once you capture their information, they're an official contact in your system. But let's just say you go to a conference, or if you purchase a list, um, they didn't actually submit a form, so they're going to need to take an action either on your website, again, follow you, open, click, whatever it is, so that way you can capture that IP address.
Okay.
Once you capture that IP address, then you can see what else they're poking around in terms of their contact profile, and I can show you how contact profile has a whole bunch of steps on there. But I want to talk about predictive sending because that's
Yeah.
part of our number two. So predictive sending, you can do regular campaign. This means, okay, we're going to send this today, Thursday, May 22nd, at 11:36 a.m. Or we can do A/B test. Same, we're going to send it today at 11:36 a.m. But I want two different subject lines, and I want to test, kind of like we just did.
Yeah.
One's not probably going to perform poorly, one's going to perform better. Once it hits 10% and exceeds that, the system will automatically use the best subject line.
Oh, good. That
Yeah,
way you're not stuck with half your contacts getting the bad subject line. Okay.
exactly. You can do chunk sending, which is, what, I have 1,000 contacts. I actually don't want to send them all at the same time. I want to send 100 every single day. You could do it that way. The most effective one is called predictive sending. Now, it does take about seven touch points or seven engagements. So let's just call it 7 emails that you send out. And don't do it, today, tomorrow, within a week. Predictive sending, the system will learn your user behavior. So I'm going to go ahead and launch the campaign today, but that campaign essentially is going to last over the course of 14 days. Over the course of those 14 days, those 1,000 people, Cade, you wake up early, you more than likely will open up this email on Tuesdays at 7:30 in the morning. That's when that email is going to fire off. The 999 other ones, it's going to follow the same methodology depending on how they're engaging with you.
Uh,
Isn't that
Sending
cool?
out the email marketing for this webinar, I was like, when should I send this? When are dental lab technicians awake? Because there's some that start at 5 in the morning. I could do it then. So
Mm-hmm.
with this, it knows if they've interacted enough, it knows, hey, Joe, the dental lab tech, or the dentist opens. He gets up at 5 a.m., checks his email, and it knows that, and so it's fresh and top of his inbox at that time.
100%. You nailed it. Yeah. So just think about that process. You're going to send it one day, same time, or you're going to send it when they're more than likely to open it. That's how you increase your conversion rate. That's how you increase the engagement on those prospects. So whether you're B2B, you're doing lab to lab, or you're doing lab to dentist, private practice, whatever it is, keep those, things in mind, because again, at the end of the day, what's the point here? You have to keep the doors open. You have to get cases in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and another thing is automation. So we talked about AI here a little bit on the subject line, and then automation. So for example, this doctor, if someone joins and it has a specific field that says this patient was checked out. Now, again, this is direct to consumer. This is not a B2B. Then he's going to automatically send that email to ask for a Google review.
Mm.
Right. So then again, this is no longer the person saying, hey, make sure you scan this QR code. Yes, tell them as they're checking out. But they're already ready to go home. That patient's ready to go home, or that doctor's are ready to go, ready to go home. But if you send them your first case, more than likely, that's when you're going to get the higher Google review. Now,
Mm.
here's a little trick that we tell our clients. If they select 1, 2, or 3, don't send them to your Google review. 4 or 5, if they click on that, it'll automatically send them for the person to review. But if
Oh, good. So you can kind of control the bad reviews or the mediocre reviews. Okay.
exactly, because again, people still go out, and if a dentist, especially if they're on the verge of maybe switching a lab because their current lab they're not liking it, right? Give me a sec. Let me put myself on D&D so this doesn't go off. Um, So they're not like, maybe they're ready for a switch, or maybe they're just looking for a different lab that does more specifically in ortho. They're going to go to your Google My Business. So that's another thing. Website, email marketing, Google My Business. Google My Business is a way for people without even having to call you to see what others are saying about you, right? So going back to here, if it's a 1, 2, or 3, you don't want to hurt your Google reputation. You don't want to hurt your Google, his 4.7 that he has right now. So what do? Well, send them to a completely different page and ask them, well, let me make this right for you. Give me some information. And guess what? If we messed up a case, this is an opportunity where you can either cross out, upsell subtly, but most importantly, not lose that client. We all mess up. We're only human. So if you do mess up, just ask, hey, let us make it right. But again, the key thing here is that you're segmenting those reviews, and that way you don't hurt your Google review.
And I wonder how many you could take some of those Google reviews, the good ones, and cherry pick the ones that praise you, and put them on your site. I know that's a big thing. I'm sure other dentists that are on your lab site would love to hear from other dentists. And that's kind of almost like a word of mouth referral that we're back to. Is that Google review is the word of mouth referral for the dentist that's Googling your lab.
I love that you put it that way. Yeah, because when we think referral, it's like, hey, Dr. Smith, hey, you should try his lab. But to your point, that referral can also be Dr. Smith is right on your website, giving your praises and saying you should all at least give Kate a shot and send them one case. If you're dissatisfied afterwards, but give them an opportunity. And I think that's the one thing that, especially the smaller labs, when you're competing with the bigger ones, is how do you get them through your doors? How do you make sure that you receive that case so you can show them this is how we're different?
And part of the marketing of being a small lab is being a small lab. A boutique, I guess, lab, or my website says small batch craft brewed retainers, just kind of capturing that, small distillery brewery kind of thing aspect. So yeah, what do you got here?
Now you're making me want a beer.
Yeah. This webinar might be a lot more fun if we both had beers.
There you go. Next one. Join us on the next one.
Yeah.
Well, this one, I think, if I recall correctly, on maybe one of the questions that we had was in relation to social media. Let me go into. I don't have the questions in front of me, Kate, but
let me see. Let's see. Was it a poll or a question?
I think it was a poll. Let's see.
Okay, I got. What's the biggest challenge your dental lab faces in marketing? How familiar are you with AI? And if you could automate one part of your marketing, what would it be?
All great, but you know what? Let me just show you what we have here, and I'm actually interested to see if any of our listeners are willing to tell us what their biggest challenge is in marketing their lab right now. But one of the other tools that I was going to mention is the social media, because one of the questions was social media. I think it was the one that was literally 50-50. Again, time of day. If you have a platform, you can come in here and say, use AI again. So AI content, I want to do a Facebook post, write something about, I don't know, $79 or comb your crown. We'll continue with that theme. Promotion. This happens to me all the time. On beat, my brain cells are like down for the count. So I just need a little bit of help. I want some emojis and give me a couple variations.
Oh, this is AI.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Help me, AI.
Yes, help me, Obi-Wan. So there you go. You just a very basic sentence, and then they gave you essentially the copy that you can use. I like this copy. I'm going to go ahead and use it. I'm going to come back and post it in here, and then just select all the channels. So he's probably going to post on all of them. Wow. And you can either schedule them, or again, you can post now. if you schedule, this is essentially what you get. So he's gotten into the habit of coming in here and posting well in advance so he can set it and forget it. He knows what content is out there. Again, you want to trick those algorithms so in that way, if you're on Instagram, your profile is constantly showing up on the browser feeds. So this saves you literally hours, if not weeks, of time that you would traditionally have to do it, manually through every single platform, through Facebook, through LinkedIn, through
You got 4-5 different tabs, and you're going to each tab and post, copy and paste, post, copy and paste, post. This will just all in one area.
All in one. So again, automation and I working for you, not the other way around. Landing pages. If you want to do a promotion, he does a specific promotion, and yes, you want to send people to your website. They can learn everything about you. But say you just want to run a promotion. You want to do your first case free. Do a specific landing page because you want them to take that one call to action. The one call to action is he wants them to book online. The one call to action for you guys is submit a case. So don't distract it with everything else. Going back to your point earlier in the conversation, Kate, what differentiates you, and whether it's a product or a service that you can really hone in on? And this is a way to do it. So you have your landing page and you can see like this promotion, 467. This was a weekend that he did. 467 people visited his page. So you go into the analytics and you're like, okay, they're still visiting even though this promotion is essentially over. Why does that matter? Because now you can see, going back to what I was telling you, Kate, that contact is in your system and you can see who's actually visiting.
Who's primed to take that first leap.
Yeah. And if, again, going back to the lead score that I was talking about, so let's just try to find one on here with lead score early. There are negative lead score. Negative lead scores are essentially those people that said, I want to unsubscribe. I don't want to receive anything. And once they unsubscribe, they won't ever receive anything anymore unless they resubscribe again.
Okay.
Because you could get in trouble, right? It's
absolutely. Yeah.
But let's just say look at maybe a lead score of 35. So let's go to Alex here. Yeah, maybe she's not a good one. Let's go maybe this one. Yeah, so you can see that Joseph here joined on the website. He gave us his information, even the message, of this prospect. We can see that they was the form that they submitted, and we can also see that an automation was triggered with that. That automation says that they actually took one step in it. So once you have a contact in the system, and the more they act, this would be a list, a very, very long list that you can see. Again, they visited your website. Most importantly, which page on your website they visited. They visited your social channel. And then once you have that aggregate information, going back to the dashboard, you can see how your social channels are engaging. I think I'm going to stop sharing now, Kate. But I think you mentioned, I don't know if it was in conversation before we started the webinar here, was do I need a social channel for all of them? A Facebook, a LinkedIn, a Instagram, an X? The answer is no, because each single channel has a purpose. For example, X is very conversational. And if you don't have the time to be on there and consistently communicating, then it doesn't matter. The engagement doesn't matter. So pick one, start with one if you don't have one, Facebook or LinkedIn, because again, ultimately it's still a B2B business.
Right.
And then see how that goes and build your audience in that one channel and own that one channel before you even try to stretch yourself too thin.
That's a great build from that. Learn how to do that one channel, do it good, or one social media channel, do it good, and then build on that. We did get a question.
Okay.
Joey Dvorak, who actually you missed it because you weren't able to get there. He played country western music. He's got a band, and we had him play live music Thursday night at the conference. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, well, now I'm even sadder that I missed that.
And he just opened his lab. He had been working for another lab for years, and he just opened his own lab. So congratulations to him. Uh,
Congratulations.
yeah. So marketing challenges has always been getting through the gatekeepers, front office or office manager. So I would say what you're promoting
Mhm.
with social media and marketing and stuff is it gets past that front gatekeeper. Like old school way of generating or how do you acquire new clients is walking in the door with your price list and a card and stuff, and then the receptionist takes it and goes thank you and then like dumps it into the trash, you know.
Mhm.
But I'm assuming this marketing will bypass. You're getting right to the doctor's email, right to the doctor's her Instagram, her Facebook, LinkedIn. You're getting in front of them, going around the front gatekeepers.
100%. You nailed it. Exactly. And again, some office managers do hold a certain power. They're not just
Oh,
gatekeepers to be gatekeepers. They do influence doctors. So, yes, it's omni-channel. Omni-channel means that you're doing email, that you're doing social media, that you're doing website, and you're not just communicating directly with the doctor, but maybe that office manager, if you connect with her on Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever it is, then you get to know that person a little bit more. So when their usual behavior would be standoffish, to your point, put it in the garbage. They're saying, "Oh, Sarah, it was so nice. Your daughter's in swim class. How is she doing?"
oh, make that connection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because people are always on their phone and they're always, posting pictures of their family or posting pictures of what they ate yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So create that connection because then now that office manager, her guard or their guard is down and you've already made the connection with the doctor. So now name drop. Oh yeah, I actually sent a message to Dr. Smith the other day, and I'd love to again have you guys try us out. So
That's a great aspect. It's almost stalking, internet stalking a little bit, but it's in your feed. They're putting it out there, so
exactly,
just
yeah,
pay attention. Is that something you can
100%.
enter in these CRMs or something like Hackadoc? Um, hey, front desk lady swim class, or is there something like that?
Oh, you mean a note on the contact profile?
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely, yes. That's a great point. That's a great point. So then that way the conversation is a lot more fruitful.
That
Mhm.
it reminds me. I don't know if you watch The Office or not.
Yes.
Uh, there was one where Michael Scott had cards and it had notes on there for each of the clients. He had a little, not a Rolodex, but he had these cards, and it had this one's green for go ahead and don't talk about this subject of this guy's kids, and somebody took that. Dwight Schrute took it and was like, "Oh, it's green. Talk about it. Hey, how's your kid and his issue he's had?" And it's it was a funny case of making notes about clients, but only notes that you can read and understand.
Yes.
But I'm glad you could put the notes in there. And
Sidebar, that's why I'm always nice to the server because they will write a note on that ticket and say this guy or this girl or this woman sucks, and that's how you get spit in your food.
oh yeah, yeah. And dental lab is a small world,
Yes.
so you don't burn bridges in this industry if you can help it. Don't burn bridges.
Absolutely. I mean,
So
dentistry as a whole is a mall.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and word of mouth referrals don't work when you're considered, a bad lab.
exactly. Exactly. But what do we have on number three here?
uh, Lead generation strategies that drive more business. So these are just targeting dentists,
Yeah.
DSOs through digital ads. So can a small lab get a DSO? I mean, is
Yes,
it possible?
absolutely. Because when people think DSOs, you're thinking about the big Heartlands or the big, MB2s, those big, big DSOs that are already large markets. But there are a lot of small to emerging DSOs out there. Let's just say, again, using Dr. Smith as an example, fictitious character in case you haven't caught on to that. Dr. Smith, his practice is doing so well. Now he wants to open up a secondary practice, 5, 10 miles down the road. So once you have 3 or 4 or 5 locations, technically that is a group. It's not owned by private equity
Mm,
at this point, but it's still a small DSO.
still
So
considered
when it
under
comes
that
to
umbrella term.
yeah, yeah. So when it comes to small business, again, small business is small business. I think, and per experience, they actually want to work with the smaller labs more than the big ones. You know, maybe high complex cases, they'll go to the larger labs, but you know, Regina down the road, she needs her dentures tomorrow, or you know,
Yep.
Sarah's getting married the next week. She needs that crown right away. That's the relationship aspect of it. So
Right.
I absolutely think, like I said, there's enough to go around. You just need to know who to target.
And so these are, I found this interesting. This is a poll that you did. It talked about LinkedIn ads, Google search ads. Let me
Ooh.
see if I can find that poll and bring it up. Um, it was about, did you, have you bought ads?
Oh man.
And there were a few. Oh, here we go. It was that first one, that word of mouth referrals. So down here, there was one person that says paid advertising. They do the Google, Facebook, and LinkedIn ads,
Yes.
and I didn't know, are those good to do or bad to do? And I'll let you answer that.
I think again, and going back to which channel. So Google, if you have your website, number one, if you have your website, make sure you search engine optimize SEO it.
Mm-hmm.
What that means is, you know, on the back end of your website, if you have your homepage, it's called metadata. So you have a title and a description. Even your images, you want to label your images.
Oh.
Excuse me, because all that goes into human behavior, lab near me, or crowns near me, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is that the dentist or the clinician might be searching for. You want to start ranking in Google. So you can do that organically, and then you can really emphasize that by doing paid Google ads. Now you can geofence is what it called, geofence on Google. So you don't necessarily have to have such a large advertising budget, but again, targeting the right people and targeting the right areas. So if you want to dominate your own backyard, do a small, there you go. See, that's sponsored. That
Yeah. So yeah, it was sponsored, and then make sure you're on the map. So
yeah.
so these are the ones closest to me. This is Austin. This is, I don't even know where Hutto is, but I know I've heard of Watson and then Star Dental Laboratory. So these guys are doing good if they're front and center.
They're placing on the first page. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, they're rated well. They all have
Oh
five
yeah,
stars.
look at that. 4.9. Best dental lab serving Austin. Oh, that's Uptown Dental Lab. Wow. So that's what you, Watson. Good job. Uh,
Right?
it's these Austin labs are doing great at marketing because I'm North Texas and Austin's 3 or 4 hours away from me,
Look
and
at
they're, I guess, geofenced the state of Texas, or
or a
that's what you
50
mean is
mile
like,
radius. Hmm.
because when I did my own lab, I geofenced just the surrounding towns around me because I don't do much more than just those.
Right.
So uh, I'll let you continue with your geofencing. I was just
No. You're exactly right. You're right on, and I'm glad you brought this up because they're probably doing. I mean, Dandy just has again. It's different than comparing them to a small lab because they have quite a bit of a large marketing budget. They pop on my LinkedIn all the time to the
oh
point that I'm like, stop seeing this ad.
yeah. So there's also this feature of they zoom in of where they're located, and they can, doctors can search this area
Right.
and see there's Morgan Dental Lab, Lasting Impressions Dental Lab. Now that's sponsored for a dentist office, but um, yeah, I didn't mean to take it away
It's the
from you.
key words. It's the key
Yeah,
words that
yeah,
they're, yeah. But you know, this is a great example. So again, if Dr. Smith is unhappy or Dr. Smith is looking for a lab for a specific, specialty, that's the first thing he's going to do. He's going to look
right.
for a lab near him. You know.
And that's a great point of get your website and then get yourself in Google Business,
Yes.
because they is there, let's say I work from home. I didn't put my specific address. I didn't want that out there.
Yeah.
Um, so I just kind of did. I'm located in Farmersville, Texas, and I serve this area,
Yep.
and so that's what I did on mine. Although it's not popping up here. Maybe if I did Ortho Labs, I'm scared to do this. Talking to a marketing expert.
Let's see how you rank.
Oh yeah, I do not rank very good at all. Oh
Well, hopefully you gain some good nuggets of information so far that all of you listening can go back and apply into your day to day.
now I didn't pay for any ads, uh, and it looks like it's pulling up. There's an orthodontic lab, orthodontic dental lab, electric arts dental lab. That's a cool name.
That is
Uh,
cool. Out of Austin.
orthodontic.
Austin's getting all the cool stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if Google thinks I'm in Austin or what. I don't know why they think I'm. Maybe that's Google thinks I'm in Austin. Maybe on this page. So
Yeah.
uh, anyway, I didn't mean to.
It doesn't hurt, right? The whole point is that you start ranking. So,
Right. So
all right.
this,
So, go ahead.
yeah. Well, I was going to go back to the strategy, the best lead generation strategies.
Yeah. So again, kind of tying it back to which channel. If you're not sure which channel to start, go with Google. Google My Business, and then maybe do a little bit of paid media to see how that goes.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
All right. Let's.
yeah, you talked about these optimizing your website for more conversions.
Yes, yes. So then the lead form, like I showed you earlier, you can see how many people are submitting the form. Once they submit the form, then you have their IP address if you have a CRM system. So that is one strategy to convert. Then you can personalize that content, like we shared with those short codes. Hello, Cade, I have a special for you today. Let's see, offer a free resource. So again, you don't necessarily have to give away a free case. You could offer a resource because again, education. There's a reason why people, attend these events to get their CE credits because again, it's constant learning. Be a sponge,
Yeah.
and just absorb.
So, like, let's say I'm good at night guards and splints. I could say, download my free best way to fit a splint in a patient's mouth or something like that, and it gives them tips and tricks on how to do that. So that's a great idea.
Exactly.
Then you
And
become
again,
an expert in their mind,
mhm.
and you become more valuable to them. Uh, so yeah, exactly.
And you start earning their trust. And
Yes.
again, so that's the whole point. The other one is a live chat. Okay, so maybe I'll give you an example going back to, I'm going to screen share here real quick. Going back to the example of that doctor that I mentioned. So, for example, and this ties in with Hekadoc. So he has a chat bot on there. So if we go,
Oh.
where do you go? Here we go. So if someone lands on your website, you have the virtual consultation, and he actually has a lot of FAQs that come from mole removal services.
Oh.
So he does not even want to talk to a prospect unless they go in here and then let it do its thing, its thinking. It's going to tell you have to visit a specific page. Here are the range of mole removal services that he offers. So just think in lab terms, what would be the restorations that you offer, and then he wants them to visit this page first. So then that way they can learn about the mole removal process, submit their photos, then he'll evaluate and then give an appointment. So he's making sure that the hours in the day that he has is actually being focused on patients that are booking and coming through his door, and not necessarily using up his staff. Going back to limited, it's you, your wife, other small dental labs. They might be 2, 3, 4 people, and again, wearing many hats. So if you're spending a lot of time answering these frequently asked questions that a chat bot that you can just simply put a little snippet code on your website will answer for you, then why not?
Now, did he have to type up these answers?
No. So look, so what we do, again, this is the help of AI. So you provide essentially the bot resources. So going back to maybe that downloadable that you mentioned, um, I don't know if you're seeing the I don't know what tab you're seeing right now.
Oh, I see the virtual. Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Okay.
Oh,
Um,
there's AI chat box. Okay,
yeah.
this is
So
a
yeah.
clean interface here. Uh,
Thank you. Now the internet's slowing me down a little bit, so it's not. Look, it's showing up. So essentially, the you're gonna feed documentation to the bot. So the
oh, okay.
downloadables, if you're comfortable sharing prices on your website when someone lands on your website, it's taking a little too long. I'm going to go back to here. Um, so then, like for example, all the services that he offers,
Hmm.
we can say point to Disport, and then the AI will take the information that's on this page and answer those FAQs based off the information that we give the
Oh,
bot to.
so
So
that's not because you that way you type it up once this info and you don't have to just continually answer the FAQs. You don't have to just continuously answer questions over and over again. It just
right,
keeps it answers for you with the same information you've typed it once. So like one and done.
exactly. And again, how many hours of the day? We're gonna let it do its thing. Share this tab again. How many hours of the day, or week, or even month or years? If you sit down and you actually like tally them up, you can save hundreds of hours. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start sharing. Kate, I think my
Oh,
internet's a little down here in the hotel, but where's my case, or are you closed for the holidays, or how much is your splint? Again, if you feel comfortable sharing your prices on your website, then that bot will answer for you. So then that way you can spend your time either selling, or you can spend your time answering the phones with clients that actually have a problem that you can help them with that requires a human. If we can consolidate and feed the chatbot, here's 10 PDFs, here's 10 links. You can even feed them links of your competitors, by the way. So then that, yeah,
that's that's spicy.
it is spicy. Use it sparingly in the right way. But again, if lab down the street from you is full service, they include splints as well, but you are the splint king, then you can maybe refer to your competitor and say, hey, that's fine. They do all crowns, they do bridges, they do implants. But if you want the right service for a specialty that I have, then you come to me.
They're jack of all trades and master of none, but I am a master of this one thing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it, that is spicy. You could really. So AI has really uh, come a long way.
Oh yeah, yeah.
In AI, talking about the SEO strategies, does that help with that too, or is
Yes,
it?
it does. It's a great question, Kate, because again, people are going to your website, they're feeding it information. So the whole purpose of AI is to continue to learn. If you don't feed it the correct information and put some guardrails, yes, it can go rogue. So you put some guardrails and say, don't do this if this type of question is asked. But the more people engage your bot, the more that AI will learn, and then you can start coming up on search on the SEO side of things. People are saying, "Oh, Google, they're starting to suffer because of ChatGPT. I hardly use Google to search anything anymore." Well, guess what? Google is still 93% of global searches.
Right. Yeah.
So,
It's going to be a while before they get toppled,
yeah.
and they're built into a lot of things. Like I don't know how many times I've searched for businesses on Google Maps because I Google Maps is automatically on my Android phone,
Yeah.
and so that's an excellent point. And,
Yeah.
and uh,
And the monthly blog. Okay, I think that's one that I have on there. So, for example, again, this is free content. So, maybe a blog that talks about shade selection. Uh, all those keywords help on your search engine optimization and for you to organically start essentially becoming the voice of authority in whatever
Mhm.
you're putting out there.
Well, there's a question of what we talked about price lists from Perry. I received calls asking for my price list. I stopped giving it out because I never get any return calls after a pleasant conversation with. Um, so that's interesting. Just
Yeah.
stop giving out the price list.
That is
uh,
interesting.
yeah,
I wonder if Perry's gotten any feedback or they just ghost him
yeah.
after
They
that.
just want the price list, and then if they, it says they had a pleasant conversation.
Yeah.
Uh, but it seems like what you're building with this marketing aspect is the people that are calling you are already well down the funnel or up the funnel, down the
Yeah.
funnel.
Down the
They're
front.
what did it say, discovery or early discovery. So by the
Yeah.
time they call you, contact you, they're already interested, and
Yes.
you shouldn't be ashamed. You shouldn't be scared of sharing your price list then, because price lists start getting handed out to other labs and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Yeah. But
uh,
if you price yourself fairly and you have quality work, then you're in as equally as a player as anyone else out there.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. I had a doctor that when I first started, he was like, "Kate, if you offer a great service and a great product, I don't care what you charge."
yeah.
And I think that's where those Google reviews would come in. Is other doctors going, he does excellent work, great turnaround time, all that stuff. It won't matter what you charge.
Yeah, yeah. But here's a tidbit for Perry though, because essentially he says I give them price list and they ghost me, right? They never return my call. Well, again, put yourself in other people's shoes. They're busy, they forget, maybe they lost a price
Mm.
list, maybe they accidentally deleted the email. But if you have them in your database, then you can follow up, right? Automate an email follow up. I
Oh
haven't heard
yes.
from you, 24 hours later or 48 hours later, whatever delay metric you want to put on there. Or again, if they called you, then you have their phone number. Hopefully it's their mobile, then you can send them an SMS component. Just in case you still need it, here's a price list. And here's a way how to send your first case with us. So again, what is the call to action that you want that prospect to take? It's always submit a case. So with automation, Perry can take the call, have a pleasant conversation, and have automation follow up with them, and hopefully that does result in them submitting a case.
Yeah, I remember this came into the second poll, what we were talking about a little bit, generating high quality leads. And this was to your poll question: what's the biggest challenge your dental lab faces in marketing?
Yes.
And 15% was generating high quality, not just leads, high quality leads.
Yeah.
Retaining. So I didn't even think retaining would. Social marketing is to get people in the door, but not lock the door behind them.
Right.
So retaining, and then of course this was the big one, competing with DSOs in corporate labs.
Hmm.
But I thought this was an interesting tie into his question and what you were saying about
Absolutely.
generating, following up that price list question.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And that's how you compete with the DSOs and big corporate labs. You
Because
know,
then it's
they,
like you have an employee doing this the whole time, but it's really just software.
exactly. Exactly. And then, you don't, you're limited on budget. We're a small business. So maybe you can't afford to bring a full-time employee or even a part-time employee, but you could afford to bring a technology, at X couple $100 a month to essentially do the monotonous and mundane work that a human being would do. And then as you grow, that's when you get your team. You start growing your team. So you're growing your lab the right way. Understanding the metrics that you get.
And Perry's answered back. My experience is when doctors are calling for a price list, they're looking for rock bottom, not quality. I don't want these accounts. They will jump at any speed bump. So that could be a red flag that pops up in his software CRM, his system, is if they're asking for a price list, most likely give them your biggest price list. Make a fake price list that's outrageous. Give that to them. If they jump on board, hey, you're selling, you know, retainers for twice as much as you used to.
Yeah, yeah. And remember we mentioned this earlier in the call that not every client you want.
Right.
This
That's
is an
exactly what he's
example.
saying. Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't want those clients that are only focusing on the price list. Uh,
Yeah.
I want to be, I want to use this marketing, this social media as make it, I'm the expert of this. If you want my services, you won't ask for the price list. You want me for my expertise.
Yeah, yeah. The way I see it is you get what you pay for. So if you're asking for rock bottom prices, then you're not even allowing me the opportunity to tell you why I'm different and why my lab is different and how my customer experience is different. If you want a cheap crown, there's many other labs out there that can offer
Yeah.
you a cheap crown, and that's okay, you know. But if you, doc, are having a heart attack, are you going to go shop for a hospital to get the rock bottom prices? No, you're going to pay what it takes in order for you to stop having that heart attack. So if you look at your business, and if clinicians look at their businesses as, if I'm only looking for the cheap crown or rock bottom prices, then more than likely you're getting some very cheap product, or maybe a product that will last 2, 3 years and then that crown cracks and now your patient comes back. Now, doctor, you losing credibility with your patient because they walk through your doors trusting that you're going to provide the best product and solution for their need. When you have that type of conversation, honest conversation with prospects, Perry, you'd actually be surprised that they come back and say, okay, yeah, you might be right.
That's excellent. Excellent points there. I think a lot of us are feeling that. And I love that it tied back to what you originally said is you don't want every single client.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you gotta vet them through a process.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we are 15 minutes to go. Let's see where we're at. We
Let's
got
power through, maybe.
Yeah, AI powered client communication and retention. Most dental labs lose business not because of quality issues, but due to poor communication, slow response times. AI fixes this.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, you're wearing many, many hats. You're answering the phone. You're checking where the cases are. You're giving them tracking numbers. You're trying to see what the
Right.
remake is.
Okay.
You know,
This hits home.
or yeah,
This hurts a little.
40 other things that you need to do. And guess what? You forgot to call Dr. Smith back. Holy smokes. Now he's already talked to Perry down the road that gave him that price list. And he's like, all right, Perry's going to get my case.
Right.
So again, automation is a tool for you to use in your business to help facilitate, especially when you are a small team, those communications, constant communication. And again, where the result on that poll question was, it's not just new leads. It's all, how do you retain that client once they already sent you a case and they're happy? Or, you don't know if they're happy because you actually haven't sent them a survey and say, how was your experience?
So that's where this, yeah, communication,
Mhm.
where poor communication and slow response time. And that's another thing is the response times of, you know, sending out. Sometimes I don't get back to a orthodontist question until the next day,
Yeah.
and they're probably like, hey, I need to know. It's top of my mind before I forget. Like you're saying, the front desk people, they may not throw your stuff away, but they just get busy with an emergency coming in, and
Yeah.
so yeah, automation following up. I could see that would help.
Or they have 10 other patients, that they need to put in the
Right.
chain. Yeah. Yeah.
AI powered SMS, WhatsApp messaging, answer questions instantly. Everybody's got a phone. The phone is right beside you while you're on the bench. So I assume as questions come in, you can just pick it up and answer it. Is that what I'm seeing on this? Like the WhatsApp and the
That's right.
SMS?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can either automate the SMS, or again, you can get a text message alert and have the conversation with them directly. The other one is handle those FAQs, 24/7. You're closed on Sunday, but Dr. Smith is looking for XYZ. And if they go to your website and you have that chat bot, they're going to ask the questions that normally you would answer, if they would call you on regular business hours.
Oh, that's valuable. The communication part. So
Yeah.
we also have 5, how to optimize your digital advertising
Yes.
for
Yes.
high return on investment.
This
Uh,
we kind of touched on this a little bit on Google. So make sure that your search engine, your website is optimized for search. But also video, especially in a product like labs, it's highly demonstrable. You want to, engage. Video ads have been skyrocketed in terms of engagement, because again, it's not a static ad. It's your scroll, your scroll, your scroll, your
yeah,
scroll. What's going to make you stop? So video ads have shown a higher ROI, simply because of the content that you're putting out there. Now, again, you're not going to just show a video to show a video. Going back to the education component, think about your client and what would interest them and create even a 15-30-second video. It doesn't need a high production. You're
right.
doing it right now, Kate. You're in your lab right now. It's truth, it's human. You
Yeah,
are a real person in a real lab, and I am the person that's going to provide that solution that you're looking for.
right. That being conversational almost. I
Mm-hmm.
like the idea of doesn't have to be high production and it's got music in the background or something. I know things that catch my eye are real raw videos and ads of somebody actually doing a technique or something like that. But
Yeah.
I think what you said, putting yourself in the dentist client shoes and go, what would they be looking for? What questions can I answer for them?
Mm-hmm.
And make myself the expert.
Yeah.
Um, so use video ads, retarget website visitors. That's where that comes in. Uh, that
Yeah, so aside from geofencing on Google, you can retarget your website visitors. So if they visited your website and you're scrolling and you're trying to find some shoes, your ad can pop up, even though they're not searching for labs, because you're retargeting their pixel, because they visited the website. So that's another way that you can retarget, or use paid media to continue the reach beyond them leaving your website.
right. That's well. We got a couple questions.
Okay.
Uh, well, this isn't. This is a statement from Dental Things. I've just started my small removables lab and going office to office. So that cold calling. Their ears perk up when I say local, because people love local now, and but also when I tell them I have been in their shoes as a dental assistant. This Dental Things. He was a dental assistant teacher. He actually
Oh,
taught
okay.
dental assistants. As a dental assistant, and I can speak their language. So he's talking about he can communicate the best because I was you,
Yep.
and
Yep.
so uh, putting that in the geofence, um, local, you know, how many times do you? I guess you can look this up. How many times do you get Googled, or how many times do you get shown up on a Google search result? Removable lab near me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely.
you can see that kind of info.
And he has a great point here. I've been in your shoes. So going back to the know, like, and trust, he's gaining their trust by saying, I know exactly what you're feeling
Mm-hmm.
because I've been there.
I've
And
dealt with the difficult patients.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. And that again compares you to the larger labs that, um, they might not have been in their shoes. Some organizations hire people that don't even have dental experience.
right.
So, talking about that and be proud of your experience and be proud of what you offer, genuinely, that's a huge differentiator for you as on a local level specifically to your point, Kate. A lot of people are really searching for local.
Yeah, that seems to be um, a very small downtown is coming back.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that one other one, Perry again. Thanks for this very informative session. I'm not taking new accounts right now, but on a different note, will you be doing best cameras to use in video when your products in the future? I think this is to me. He's a regular on my YouTube channel. I do live streams showing techniques and how to do
Oh,
how to make ortho lab appliances. Perry, that's a great idea. How to do these instructional videos Michelle is talking about.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I'll see what I can do to show the cameras I use to do my live streams and videos. Uh,
Hey, I complimented you on that camera, so it moves along with you when you do.
yeah, I was. It goes a little crazy. Like if I stand up and walk around, And that's what I do in my videos is I go from station to station, and this little camera follows me
Yeah.
where I go.
Well, keep an eye out, Perry, because Kate's going to bring that down the line.
Right. Uh, all right. So CRM and email automation, the ultimate
Yeah.
follow-up system.
So I kind of showed a little bit on the Google review. That's an example of automation that you can set up on this one. Again, there's many, many different automations. You want to really think about your customer journey, but start small. Small, like a Google review, asking for a Google review. If people are asking for your pricing, we talked about this with Perry, follow up with an email or an SMS component. So that is an automated process where you don't physically have to take the time out of your day to do that.
Yeah, that time is valuable in small dental labs for sure.
Yeah.
Any lab, I guess, and that's why you get hired and you hire people to do things for you, or software to do things for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Measuring success. Yeah, key metric. You're not going to do everything perfect, so
Yeah,
learn from your mistakes, right?
exactly. And the one thing that is pretty certain is that things always change. So be flexible. Stay agile in terms of your marketing strategy. Again, it doesn't need to be really robust. You can start small, and if you see that maybe Instagram's not working for you, that's when you pivot, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you see that Google is working better than Instagram and you have a finite budget to work with, then reallocate that to Google, and again, go all in on it. And measure. So again, if you use a platform that shows you how many people came to your website from each channel, then you can see what that cost per lead will be. And then most importantly, if they submit a case. So again, making sure that you have that data in front of you and understanding how to interpret it, that's really how you're going to get your ROI on it. Constantly improving on what's working. And if it's something's not working, toss it out the window. That doesn't mean that you're doing a bad thing. That means that you're actually testing. A lot of these big, names that we hear, whether it's Steve Jobs or Elon Musk, they're going to tell you one thing. I failed 5,000 times until I got it right once.
Yeah, and it's that one time that did it all for them.
Yeah, that gets you to space, apparently.
Yeah, maybe Mars.
Yeah.
And so next steps implementing AI and automation in your lab. And step one, start with a CRM and email automation tool like Hekadoc.
Like Hekadoc, like MailChimp. Mm-hmm.
And run AI powered ad campaigns to generate leads. Automate follow ups. That seems to be a really good thing to do, that communication.
Yeah, and if you do those three things, again, even at a basic level, you're already ahead of the game.
And so, let's see, Perry. My brother had a degree in marketing. He worked for 7 local newspapers in Portland. Whoa.
Very cool.
He loves talking about themselves, and when placing ads, book a year, not just one ad. You won't get good response with one. Okay, yeah. Multiple ones. Or A/B testing with ads and stuff.
That's right. That's right. Variation and A/B testing. And Perry has a good point. Going back to what works, what doesn't work. So maybe do 5 different ads with 5 different headlines and see which one of those 5 is working well. After 2
Go
weeks.
back to the ROI. Yeah.
Exactly. After 2 weeks, see, these 2 were underperforming, and then these 3 are the ones that are left. Run those again for 2 weeks. Out of those 3, they're performing equally, or you're going to start squeezing that down in terms of your messaging and what's resonating with your audience. So that's a great point, Perry.
Yeah. He did do a correction. The customers love talking about themselves. Capitalize on this, as you mentioned before.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think, all right.
Yeah.
We're at the end of this. And, okay. So people that are in my shoes, that maybe they have a website, maybe they have a Google thing, maybe they don't have any of that. What can you do, Michelle? What do you offer? How can you help somebody that's can't handle this stuff?
Yeah, well, they can visit avantgarde.com, or send us an email over at hello@avantgarde, and we'll give you a free strategy session or even a site audit. If you do have a website, understanding how your website is performing. We'll do a free site audit for you. What that entails is
Nice.
how your domain is performing. How many hits are you getting a month? Is your competitor using specific keywords that you might want to add on your website? And all this, we're more than happy to do it for you guys for obviously being friends of Cade and tuning in today. And then that hopefully gives you enough to get your cogs rolling, and putting some marketing in place that will benefit your business. So hit us up. We're more than happy to do a site audit or a free strategy session with you.
Yeah, and speaking of websites, avantgarde.com. Let me remove myself here so y'all can see the web address. But yeah, you could, beautiful site, and I'm sure you're doing all the things that you teach
That's
your
right.
clients how to do. So you're having to do the same things that we're having to do. So you know exactly. And the best part is dental labs.
Yes.
Just hearing you speak dental lab talk is good, because there's many times I'll get a postcard from some company. It says, "Would you like to get more clients into your dental office?" I'm like, "You don't know who. I'm not a dental lab, or I'm not a dentist."
Yeah. You targeted the wrong person. Mm-hmm.
Well, excellent. I really appreciate you giving us all this information. And
Yes.
again, I urge everybody to reach out to Michelle, and if you need help with this stuff. I'm sure we're all newbies at it, but it looks like you're good at doing
Some stuff.
yeah. Yeah, it tools to start with, website, Google, and stuff like that. But looks like reach out to Michelle to get your really perfect that. It sounds like, or even setting up a Hekadoc, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
And doing that. If you get on there and you just don't know what to do, reach out.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me, Cade.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you doing this. And again, some last minute things is again, if you want to watch this or even more of the conference videos, go to dlat.org and click on this big image here or this up here, and you can actually watch all these and get your CE credits. Again, if you want your CE credits, make sure you register for this course down below. And then there's another, I couldn't ask for your CDT number in the description or the form that they gave us. So there's a second form to do to give me your CDT number. And if I don't, I'll reach out. Michelle, are you okay if I email out this slide deck? The PDF
Absolutely.
Okay. I'll email that out to all registered people. So I believe you can still register even if this is over, and you can watch the recording. And once I see your registration come in, I'll email her PDF and all the links and stuff like that. So we'll end it there. And again, Michelle, thank you for doing this. And I know you're in a hotel traveling, and I appreciate you today giving us all your expertise in your head.
Thank you so much.
All right, well, we'll end it there, and good luck, everybody, and in your marketing venues, and we'll see y'all on the next one.
Bye-bye.